Was that playoff Jimmy Butler unleashed? After dropping 38 points in the Warriors' play-in win over the Grizzlies, it looks like Jimmy Butler is locked in, and they'll need every bit of that against the young and athletic Houston Rockets team. The Houston Rockets are in the midst of one of the most impressive turnarounds in NBA history. Just 2 seasons ago, they went 22-60. This year, they finished 52-30, locked up the 2nd seed in a stacked Western Conference, and ranked top 4 in defense and top 10 in offense. Coming in from the play-in tournament are the Golden State Warriors, led by the trio of Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green. Since acquiring Butler, they've gone 30-17 and have played like a top 10 team on both ends of the floor when the new Big Three is available. Forget the seeding. This series is shaping up to be yet another thrilling, tightly contested Western Conference playoff battle. Let's break down everything you need to know before the series tips off on April 20. The Houston Rockets are the only top 6 team in the West that wasn't even in the playoffs last year. Now, after a 4-season absence, they're finally back. And who better to welcome them than the Golden State Warriors? It's been 6 years since these two teams met in the postseason, but the history is still there. Between 2015 and 2019, they clashed in 4 playoff series, each one leaving a mark. These fan bases, they should hate each other. No one from those battles remains in Houston, but the Warriors still have the ever-outspoken Draymond Green and head coach Steve Kerr, who knocked the Rockets out 4 times on their way to the finals, winning 2 rings in the process. Oh, and of course, the man who still runs the Bay, Steph Curry. Still dazzling, still running around, still driving opponents mad. Just ask the Memphis Grizzlies, who Steph torched for 37 points, including 2 classic Chef Curry triples in the final 2 minutes, and a perfect parade of free throws to ice the game. Night-night. The road the Warriors took to get here is truly bizarre. They started the 24-25 campaign red hot and held the top spot in the West a month into the season. Curry was magnificent, the revamped offense was humming, and the support players were sliding into their roles perfectly. But the mirage faded quickly. Injuries, over-reliance on Steph, role players going cold, and the beginning of a February Golden State had dropped below 500, sitting at 25-26 and 10th in the West. Something had to be done. The Warriors front office knew you can't just throw away a season, not when Curry is still playing at an elite level. So GM Mike Dunleavy Jr. conjured up some of his magic and old connections and pulled off a blockbuster, rescuing a disgruntled Jimmy Butler from the Miami Heat. The move worked like a charm and made NBA legend and Heat president Pat Riley look like one of the biggest fools in the league. And that's saying something in a league where the Phoenix Suns are firing their 3rd head coach in as many seasons, and Nico Harrison still has a job. In-season trades don't usually swing things this dramatically, but the Jimmy Butler deal, it flipped the Warriors season on its head in the best possible way. Golden State went from a sub-500 mess to looking like a legit title threat overnight. Since the trade, they posted a +5 net rating with Butler on the floor, good enough to rank top 5 across a full season. The offense is sharper, the defense has bite, and for the first time in a while, the Warriors look like a team that knows exactly what it is. Curry needed someone to take the pressure off, run the show when he's off the floor, keep the tempo up, and create good shots. Jimmy can do that in his sleep. The team also had a long-standing issue. Too perimeter heavy. When the threes aren't falling and Steph's catching a breather, they've historically struggled to generate rim pressure or get to the line. Butler solves that too. He's a bruising driver, a mid-range killer, and a foul-drawing machine. And then there's the defense. Draymond Green had been looking for, as a team source put it to The Atlantic, another arsehole, a no-nonsense, relentless competitor who could help bring the defensive nastiness that made Golden State's dynasty so unique. Jimmy checked that box the moment he walked in the door. But still, it wasn't all smooth sailing. With a week left in the regular season, they were sitting in 5th spot, planning to go straight into the playoffs and open the first round against either the fellow small ball aficionados in the Lakers or a reeling Denver Nuggets squad, depending on who slipped to 4th. They were hoping to buy a few extra days of rest for their veterans, Curry, Butler, and Draymond. But then, they lost a hard-nosed, intense battle to the Rockets on April 6th. Then 3 days later, they dropped a winnable game to a tanking Spurs team, missing both Victor Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox, when Harrison Barnes got his revenge on his first NBA team with a buzzer-beating dagger. Then they blew an overtime heartbreaker to the Clippers on the final day of the regular season. And just like that, they were forced into the 7 and 8 play-in game against the Memphis Grizzlies. This one was a nail-biter. The Warriors jumped out to a big first-half lead, but the Grizzlies clawed their way back into it, possession by possession. At one point, Curry appeared to re-aggravate a thumb injury in the fourth quarter of what turned into a chippy, high-intensity battle. But with Curry's clutch shot-making and playoff Jimmy in full effect, the Golden State Warriors punched their ticket to the postseason. Butler delivered a monster 38 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists, impacting both ends of the floor like the star he is. Oh yeah, and the timing was just perfect. This win marked the Warriors' first victory in 4 play-in appearances. After months of scrapping for position, they locked in the 7th seed and now face the 2nd-seeded Houston Rockets. I was just telling Draymond, it's wild, Curry said. We've been in a playoff series in Houston for a decade. It's crazy to think about. I know this is a brand new version of the Rockets team, but we're excited for the challenge. Golden State went 3-2 against Houston in the regular season, including a 91-90 loss in the NBA Cup in December 11. Their most painful defeat came on April 6 at the Chase Center, Curry's worst game of the season, as the Rockets played with physicality, urgency, and some timely trash talk from head coach Ime Udoka. That loss may have lit a fire under Jimmy Butler, because since then he's been playing like a man possessed. In 2 must-win, playoff-caliber games against the Clippers and Grizzlies, Butler has racked up 68 points while shooting 12 of 20 in both contests. This is exactly what Golden State traded for, a locked-in playoff Jimmy. He's brought new life to a core of Curry, Draymond, and Kerr, and made the Warriors a dangerous opponent, no matter who they go up against. As for Houston, clinching a playoff berth for the first time in 5 years marked a full-circle moment. Ownership and the front office rebuilt this franchise from the ashes after their star player and lead decision-maker bailed on the organization. For players like Jalen Green, Alperen Sengun, Jabari Smith Jr., and Tari Eason, it was a vindicating reward after years of painful development and losing. The turning point came with the hiring of Ime Udoka, a hard-nosed leader who demanded defense, professionalism, and zero excuses. Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks, and Steven Adams have all played major roles this season. Veterans like Aaron Holiday and Jeff Green added stability and consistency. That locker room culture, professional, mature, accountable, has quietly been one of Houston's biggest assets. Still, concerns remain. Houston's lack of playoff experience and streaky outside shooting could be a problem in a 7-game series. Only Dylan Brooks shot the league average or better from 3 on at least 200 attempts. Golden State had 4 such players. Jalen Green and Fred VanVleet launched a combined 15.8 threes per game, but hit just 35%. The good news? Houston doesn't need to win the 3-point battle to win games. They posted a 16-13 record when they were outscored from the deep. But to survive this round, multiple guys need to hit shots. Late-game execution is another worry. Houston doesn't have a clear go-to in crunch time. Explosive guard Jalen Green can run hot or cold, and he's always one defensive lap away from drawing Ime Udoka's ire. First-time All-Star Alperen Sengun looks like someone capable of taking over, but he's yet to show it consistently, let alone on a stage like this. Fred VanVleet has loads of experience, including a hot run to the title with Toronto Raptors. But if your best idea for a clutch time bucket is a VanVleet pull-up 3, ouch. That said, the Rockets try to make up for it with effort and rebounding. They finished 23rd in effective field goal percentage, but led the league in offensive rebounding rate by a wide margin. Their 18.1 second chance points per game ranks 2nd best in nearly 30 years of tracking. Overall, Houston averaged 5.5 more shot attempts than their opponents, top in the NBA, and 5th best over the last 25 years. Most importantly, their defense is for real, top 4 in the league, physical, connected, and fearless. This team isn't backing down just because Golden State has more playoff experience. Take their April 6 win over the Warriors. Steph Curry scored just 3 points on 1 of 10 shooting. His primary defender, Amen Thompson. Thompson's mix of length, motor, and defensive instincts might make him one of the few players who can keep up with Curry over a 7-game series. The numbers speak volumes. Over the 5-game regular season series, Houston was 24.6 points per 100 possessions better with Thompson on the floor. If he can stay glued to a player 15 years his senior, it makes life a whole lot easier for the rest of Houston's elite defense. One definite positive the Rockets can take away from how the Warriors handled their play-in opponent is the final rebounding numbers. The Grizzlies used a double big lineup, similar to how Houston approached their last regular season game against Golden State, and turned that size advantage into a plus 15 edge on the boards and +7 in second chance points. Since acquiring Butler, the Warriors have averaged 5.5 more shooting opportunities than their opponents, the same differential as Houston's season-long mark, but they often roll out lineups with Butler as the tallest player on the floor. Jimmy and Draymond aren't weak rebounders, but sometimes size and length just matter. Against the Grizz, Curry led the team in rebounding because Butler, Green, and whoever else manned Golden State's undersized front court had to pull their life force into boxing out Memphis' massive Zach Edey and Jaren Jackson Jr. Now, imagine what a tag team of Sengun and Steven Adams could do in similar scenarios. That's a lot of wear and tear for Golden State. The Warriors do have depth. They played 10 guys against the Memphis Grizzlies, yet somehow, Jonathan Kuminga didn't see the floor at all. The first round offers some extra rest, but the team's 3 best players are all at least 35 years old. The Warriors can't afford to burn them out too early if they're serious about making a deep playoff run. But with all these potential rotation pieces, there are plenty of questions. How much will the bigs play? And how do they match up against when the Rockets roll out Steven Adams, Alperen Sengun together? What happens if 6'11" Jabari Smith's on the floor with them? Where does the offense come from when Curry's off the floor? Is it Gary Payton II or Brandon Podziemski? Does Kuminga get a shot? How Steve Kerr manages his rotations will be one of the most intriguing aspects of the series, and it might just be the difference maker. The Warriors opened as favourites to win the series against the second seed, which isn't the usual setup. In fact, they're only the second number 7 seed to be favoured over a number 2 seed in a first-round matchup since 1988, according to Ben Fawkes of Yahoo Sports. It seems the odds makers are willing to bet on Curry's continued offensive dominance, paired with the added boost from Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green's defense, to outmatch the younger, less experienced Rockets roster. But Houston didn't get here by accident. They clearly have what it takes to stop the Warriors and make their lives miserable. If they can get any consistent offense from the young stars, they definitely have the upside to advance to the next round. It's a pretty big if though. Who do you think will take the series and why? Drop your predictions in the comments. We have more breakdowns like this one coming, so don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more in-depth basketball stories and analysis.